The final season of Game of Thrones left us on a whimper. But the start of House of Dragons is starting with a whimper and some controversy. One of the people behind the show, direct quote, "blackwashed to avoid another bunch of white people on screen," which I find completely disastrous. Chronologically speaking, and I've included the background of this video, the Targaryen dynasty of Game of Thrones are as described. To the point, they're almost described as sickly looking. They're that white. You know, they're albino level of white. I think I read one of the short stories, and one's described as being able to see the veins under their skin. They're not just white, they are ghosts. They're my friend Kitty, when she goes in the sun, she catches fire because she's a natural redhead. Irony is with this is that instead of creating something original or finding works that you can use to create the ideology that you want to push, because don't forget, we live in an age where the message is more important than story and character, you take something, race wash it again, and then put it out there to be consumed, but if anyone dares criticise it, they are deemed a ist of some kind, and that's another problem. You put the black actors in the firing line to shield from criticism, which I think is really tactless and quite disgusting. What I find really funny is this sort of war on culture is interesting, and I've said this before in another video, that, you know, why don't I make a movie based on African mythology starring Ryan Reynolds? I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? If you can do it, we can do it. You know, stop putting these dividing lines in. Stop this assault on culture, and stop. It's just, I find it bizarre. I'm going to quote an article. Articles praising the delusional decision to race swap characters to get rid of the evil whitey flooding the net like sewer from a storm drain. It is true, and this is the problem. This feels more like tokenism. Oh, we don't know where to put them, so we're just going to flip everything and put them there. And it's it does leave a really bitter taste in my mouth. I find it kind of tasteless and disgusting. Again, like I said, why not adapt works that have this in? They exist. There is a great fantasy writer who wrote the Kishi, who should be getting adapted for TV. It's based on African myth and legend. It's brilliant. I would love to see that on screen. Marlon James. Oh my god, he's a phenomenal writer. If you wanted kind of a dark POC Game of Thrones, check out his fantasy novels, because my god, they're good. They leave you wanting more. I also feel like they're going to gimp the show because, you know, in this age, it's okay for men to run around shirtless and basically naked, but women have to be dressed like they're walking around Saudi Arabia at the moment because, you know, avoid the problematic male gaze. But, you know, it just... none of the decisions make sense because it now causes a plot hole. It causes also issues with the lore of the Game of Thrones TV show, not just the books are a separate canon, but to the TV show. The kings and queens are legitimately based on the colour of their blonde colour of their hair. You see that kind of implication of inbreeding and so on that happens, and whole other things, and they could actually use this very intelligently, but they're not going to do it. I find it sad that a writer who is incapable of finishing his own work and finishing his own story his decision to do this, but I know why he's done it, because he received criticism in recent years that there's no POCs in the Game of Thrones, and he probably said yes to avoid it. There is an obscure blog post that he wrote where he had an idea to make the characters black, but again, that would, with the written work and the lore already established in the television show, this causes problems. And I know I'm a fantasy geek, and I know I'm like canon nerd. This causes so many problems. We're seeing it with the Rings of Power. We're seeing it with the focus on He-Man. You know, a man can't rescue a woman or save a woman. Men are reduced in their own franchises to the practical joke or the butt of the joke, i.e. Thor. This kind of weird war on this is bizarre, and like I said, instead of adapting original material and something that would be amazing into a TV show or a series, because Marlon James as a HBO series would be amazing. I think that would just be beautiful. And the imagery, they take something already existing and obliterate it, and again cause problems with their own lore and their own franchise. It's kind of a sad situation, and it's kind of it's really left me with no hope for this show, because what else have they done? They've been very cagey with a lot of the information. They've kept a lot of stuff out of the public eye, so I do wonder how close it will be to the source material and the book that it's based on, but I do wonder how they're going to fix this plot hole. Because the only way they could do it is every black character doesn't breed and gets killed, basically. So what's the point? Then you have, and they've done it with AMC, with Anne Rice and Interview with a Vampire, because, a plantation owner is problematic, but, we'll make Louis a black pimp. This kind of stuff makes me uncomfortable, because it's really not about the material they're adapting or the television show. It's about what can they shoehorn in, what of their own politics can they shoehorn in, and they forget that things have to be an adaptation of work. But they also forget that the fans know this work. People who are into fantasy and read Game of Thrones and love the series might not embrace this, again, because of glaring plot hole and other issues. But after season 6, will people embrace this anyway? So that's another question. I'm going to ask you, after season 6 of Game of Thrones, are you even interested in this?